today's topic, we are going to talk about the well-architected framework. First of all, uh, in the well-architected framework, there are 5 pillars. All right, and as you can see, security. Okay, security is maybe the most important, and then reliability, cost optimization, performance, and then also operational excellence. Okay, let's take a look in each area. So a good architecting should focus on these 5 area, and then security is the most important. Personally, in some project, I really talk to discuss with the uh, very big giant company, the security team head, CSO, CISO, and they actually have the permission to approve or deny any project going to the cloud. If they are not happy, we don't need to talk about anything else. All right. So security on the cloud is the top priority. But as you can see, many company, including banking, insurance company, and a lot other, think that the cloud could be even more secure comparing with they do the things on-prem. So security, actually, there are many things to talk about. Personally, I deliver a lot of security training uh, in the past 2 3 months, and then we focus on a lot of area. Like networking, encryption, access control, what we are going to do if there is some instance, something like that. So here in AWS Cloud, security is the top priority. Identify the foundation. Okay, what service you are going to use. We should be able to chase if somebody did something wrong, no matter intentionally or unintentionally. We need to find it out. All right, and secure all the layer. All right, from the network to the database to the server application, all the API call, and then every layer, and then risk management and risk assessment. So there are many things, but this is the most important priority in using AWS Cloud. And then the second thing is reliability. Reliability, maybe some failure. Okay, no people can guess. Maybe the data center can goes down, the server can goes down, the region could go down because of natural disaster. So the most important is in our planning, we think about that. All right, suppose something goes down. All right, what we going to do? The most important is automatically. Suppose one server goes down, maybe automatically, and other server comes up, and then some data center goes down. Some in AWS we call it availability zone, or even regions goes down. We have the planning, okay, automatically spin up, or we have some other spare compute resources, servers, database in another region, in another asset to take over. The most important is automatically fail. Sometimes not necessary something fail. Maybe you are doing your business too well, too good. All right, you got a lot of demand, so we need to make our back end ready to scale. All right, elastic. If you got more traffic, more demand, then we scale out and in. All right, and then scale in to save costs. So anything could happen. Maybe network issue. Maybe somebody did something wrong. So maybe typhoon, tsunami, earthquake, fire. So we need to plan for that. That's also very important in the well architecting framework. And then cost optimization. Uh, Cost, of course, is very important. So the most important in the cost area is how can we identify unneeded expenses? Can we do some replacement? And from my experience, actually, a lot of people, a lot of company overlook because they just move to the cloud and then they do the things same way as they do it in an on-prem environment. All right, I see a lot of case over provision. Let's say the storage, the compute resources. Suppose you got web server facing to the internet, and then 24 hours, 7 days a week, the whole year, you keep running those machines, and then yeah, there is cost even if there is no people visit your website, something like that. Use the data transfer often overload. So we need to identify what is the unneeded expenses, and could we find some replacement, some cheaper replacement, and then managed service. We will discuss what is managed and unmanaged service. Even if lower cost, we still can perform well and serve your customer, your employees. So next, another pillar, important pillar is related to operational. Think about your application, maybe, or even the mobile application. Every day, every week, we got a lot of updates. The updates could be fixing the bugs, could also be new features. Uh, 10, 15 years ago, the application, web application, it takes months, okay, a quarter, half year in order to release to your customer. But nowadays could be much, much faster because the cloud, okay, the cloud enable us to, let's say the infrastructure as code, we can use code to provision the whole infrastructure. We can update, we can monitor, we can deploy in a much faster place. Okay. So the final pillar is performance efficiency. So make sure that you can adjust the loading, the server to serve your customer. All right, ready to scale. There may be big sales event. Think about Thanksgiving. Think about Christmas. Okay, we may have high demand, and after that, we want to yeah, save costs. All right, and then in AWS, they are very innovative. Almost every 3-4 hours, they got new features announced. So can we adapt the new technology in order to perform faster, maybe cheaper, and maybe even higher security? So this five area is the most important when we think about the web architect. So let's take a look on the AWS Global Infrastructure. Get some understanding first. Uh, in AWS, we have the terms global infrastructure. If you go to Google search, you can easily find this page, the AWS Global Infrastructure. And then if you go down, you will see some terms, region, availability zone, we call it AC. And then we also see some point of person or the actual location, global. Now we have a lot more other types of deployment, local zone, relative zone. But let's take a look on the three core uh, uh, in the global infrastructure: availability zone, region, and then the edge location. And I'm going to show you in a drawing. Okay, so let me do the right board. So if you want to use the AWS service, suppose your storage, your compute resources, first of all, you need to create an AWS account first. So let me just say it here. We create an AWS account. Okay, AWS account. And then after that, you have the region. Okay, let's say this is our region. Okay, nowadays we got 26 region. Uh, uh, you better check in the website. Maybe tomorrow they have more. All right. So let's say Virginia, and then Oregon, or even London, Singapore, Tokyo. They are some kind of region. All right. So in a region, it means that AWS got a very large deployment. All right, they got maybe tens of thousands of server, physical server running. But as a client, as a customer, we don't need to care about the server. All right, let's keep going. And then in a region, AWS have something called VPC. Okay, let me draw it here. This is VPC. Okay, VPC is actually a service called Virtual Private Cloud. Means the networking. All right, and then inside the VPC, actually we have something called the availability zone. Okay, let me draw it here. So we have the availability zone. Yeah, let's say 2 availability zone. In each region, there will be at least 2 availability zone. Okay, and some of the region they got 3, 4, 5, 6 availability zone. So we say it, this is called availability zone. Okay, AZ. All right. So one important thing come back here is that uh, AWS nowadays got more than 200 service, and for features they may have more than 10,000. All right, some service they are outside the region. Okay, let me use this example. Route 53. Let me just use short form. Okay, R53 means Route 53. This is the DNS service. Okay, they are located outside the region, and nowadays we got more than 300 edge location or point of presence. Okay, so the DNS server we use this service could be outside those region in those 300 edge location. And then in AWS, we have another service, CloudFront. Okay, CloudFront is the content delivery network, so that if you distribute your data to the world, maybe you're a broadcast company like Disney Plus, like Netflix. All right, your target customer could be the globe. Okay, anywhere in the world. So you can use this to distribute your content to the world. And a lot more. All right. So I just want to say, some service they are located in the edge location, or we will say global bind. Okay. And then there are some service they are region bind. Let's say we are going to talk about this later. S3. All right, simple storage service. This is a online storage service, and a lot more features we will discuss a little bit later. And then after that, we also have some other service like DynamoDB. Once again, the short form, sorry, DynamoDB. Okay, they are located in the region. And then in the availability zone, let's say our EC2, the EC2 here, EC2. Let's say we make a web server. Okay, suppose if you just make a web server in a single ASAT, what happens if this ASAT goes down? All right. Uh, some people may think the web server will automatically recover in another availability zone. The answer is no. If you just have one single ASAT deployment, okay, the EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2, because the EC2 is kind of unmanaged service. In AWS, we have the service. Let me write again. Managed, MGNT, okay, and unmanaged, unmanaged. Okay. Actually, EC2 is unmanaged. EC2 is actually the virtual machine. So if the server goes down, okay, you lose your server. So that's why you better have multi-AC deployment. Okay, so if one server goes down, you still have your server up and running. Okay, so this is what we call multi-ASAT deployment. Okay, why we call it availability zone? It is because if the zone goes down, your application, web database still up and running. Okay, so it is for zone failure. So the zone goes down, your application still available. That's why we call it availability zone. So in order to do it, we make multiple ASAT deployment. So now think about it. If you have 2 web server running in multiple AC, and of course you may have a lot of customer. Okay, let's say this is customer. This is customer. You want to distribute the traffic into multiple web server. What we are going to do, if you are a network guy, you can use the F5. Okay, F5 is load balancer, so that you can load balance the traffic into multiple web server. All right, so web F5 is just a virtual appliance. You can find it in marketplace, AWS partner. But if this server goes down, you lose your load balancer. All right. So in this case, you also need maybe another F5, okay, because you need to handle the availability. So in that case, unmanaged means if you use load balancer on EC2, could be F5, could be uh, Cisco, could be Citrix SCADA. Okay, so this is kind of unmanaged. All right, so let's do it in another way. Okay, so here we are going to talk about what is managed and unmanaged. Let me just remove this. In AWS, actually, we have another managed service. We call it ELB. Okay, Elastic Load Balancer. So suppose you create the Elastic Load Balancer. Okay, it could be created across availability zone. So this is the ELB. Under the cover, they are still EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, just like their virtual machine. Okay, but could be deployed across ASAT. So if those under the cover EC2 goes down, AWS will create those virtual machine themselves. So the availability is handled by AWS. And not only the availability, also the scalability. Suppose you got more and more traffic comes in, okay, they will scale out. And then if the whole ASIC goes down, yeah, you still have the ELB running on in another ASIC. So the availability, the maintenance, the patching, you cannot even remote to those machines. Okay, so these are all handled by AWS. This is kind of the managed service. All right, and then let's take a look on another example before we continue. So let's say database. What can you do? Suppose I want Microsoft SQL, Oracle, MySQL. You can create a DB yourself in the EC2. Okay, and then what else you can use is you can create the RDS instance. Okay, the RDS is a managed service. So if you compare the managed service, we can use RDS, relational database service, or you can install the DB on EC2. Once again on EC2. Okay, so this is two choice. By using RDS, what will happen? Your web server talk to the database server. Your client, of course, go to your load balancer and then automatically uh, distribute the traffic into multiple instances across availability zone. And then for this managed service, you cannot remote to this machine, Windows or Linux, you cannot remote. AWS will handle. You just provision this machine using the API call. And then after that, this RDS will automatically back up data into S3. All right, we will talk about S3 later. So the backup is here. So suppose the RDS goes down, all right, and you can restore the backup. However, if the database is very large, 1 TB, 2 TB, it takes hours to restore the database. So what can we do? We just, when we create an instance, or you can do it later, create another one. All right. We call it standby. This is RDS standby. This is RDS master or primary. Okay. So they will automatically synchronize the data into another ASIC that's synchronized. And if this guy goes down, what happened? Okay, actually, the secondary become the new primary or master, and then they will automatically. We don't need to do anything. We move this server, all right, and the endpoint actually, AWS will move the endpoint. Your application, you don't need to change any code, any connection string, database account password. You don't need to change anything. The endpoint will automatically move to the new primary. Okay, and then they will also create another RDS secondary for you, and then synchronize back to this RDS server. So this is what we call managed service. You just focus on your application, your database, rather than the underlying infrastructure. So in this whiteboard, in this diagram, there are a few important concepts. We have global by service, or RDS. Cloud Fund is just some example. And then we have region by service, like VPC, Virtual Private Cloud, S3, DynamoDB. And then we have some service, ASAP by, like EC2. All right. And then we have managed and unmanaged service. So this is the key concept for this whiteboard. So let's take a look on some more, and then I'm going to show you in the console. In AWS, of course, we have data center. Okay, as we all know, data center, we got thousands, tens of thousands of server. All right. In this data center, we got a lot of server. They are all online. They are not cold. They are not just for standby. AWS, we have many custom hardware deployed in those data center. But as a client customer, we cannot see the customer. We cannot see the data center. What we can see is just in the console, in the command line, availability zone. Okay, what is the difference between availability zone and data center? The availability zone is like this. One availability zone is greater than or equal to one data center. So an availability zone could have 3, 4, 5 data center. So it is a much bigger deployment. And then they connect, the data center connect to each other with a very fast private link, a fiber link, all right? But as customer point of view, we just select availability zone, all right? Some service is AZ bind. Okay, let's say EC2, the virtual machine. I'll show you a little bit later. In AWS, they recommend us to deploy especially the unmanaged service across availability zone. So if one ASIC goes down, the most important is your application, your data still up and running. All right. So this is availability zone. And then the region contain two or more availability zone. Nowadays, most region got 3 availability zone or more, because some service they require 3 availability zone. So AWS tend to have the region at least 3 availability zone. And now, if you take a look on the uh, web page, is most update. We got 26 instead of 21, 22 regions nowadays. And then you can control the replication across region. Let's say S3, we are going to talk about later. We have a features we can replicate our data to another region, from Virginia to Oregon, or even to London, Tokyo, something like that. But in the architecting point of view, here we are going to talk about architecting, right? Architecting, we need to think about, is the law allow us to do so? In some country, okay, they do not allow the data leaving the country. Okay, so this is our consideration. If you deploy your web app, database, service, whatever IT infrastructure across availability zone, the cost will be higher. Okay, because you duplicate your storage, you duplicate your resources, and there is data transfer fee between ASAP. Okay, so the cost is higher. So do we need high availability but come with higher cost? This is the architecting point of view. All right. And between the region, AWS have backbone network connect all together, except a few region. In US, there is government cloud, and then in China, all right, they have 2 region isolated from other. All right, so it's really the politics reason. So this is the global infrastructure, just a map. You can find from the internet a more updated map. Just like this, we have 20 something region. All right, they start their business in Virginia. So here, in this region, they got 6 availability zone, and each availability zone may got a 3, 5 data center. So really huge deployment here, and you can actually use only one single region, or replicate your data. Think about it. Suppose you are a broadcast company. You want to serve the people around the world. Okay, what you can do is you can, let's say, store the movie here for US customer, store the movie here, and store the movie here for the APAC customer. But this is not really good. You duplicate your storage, all right, and then there is a lot of data transfer costs, and then duplicate the storage costs. So in this case, so we don't just focus on region. That's why AWS have the edge location. Nowadays, more than 300 edge location around the world. All right. So what we can do is we only store in US. Okay, the movie. And then for this CDN, AWS, they have this content delivery network. In AWS, we call CloudFront. Okay, CloudFront is just one service in the global infrastructure in the edge location. So suppose your London customer, all right, go to visit the movie, the website, all right, not just the movie, but also think about the static content like the picture, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, something like that. So you can the first time we need to download and cache here. All right, maybe the first guy takes a little bit longer, but the travel could be through AWS backbone network, still faster than internet. And then the other people, all right, around the Europe would be able to uh, uh, consume from the edge location. All right, so the user experience is much faster. And then the picture, the movie, the logo, the HTML didn't change at all. So for static data, that's perfect case. So CloudFront is just one example using the edge location. Some others, like I mentioned before, Route 53, and then some service called Shield Web Application Firewall, API Gateway, they could also be global by service. All right. So before I take a look on S3, I would like to show you a little bit demo here first. So in order to use AWS, of course, you need to create an AWS account, your personal information, and then email address. The email address would be the root user inside your AWS account. So he is the king. This credential would be able to touch everything. So after you go to log in your AWS account, and then let's take a look. This is the page when you log in, how it looks like. And if you go to service, there are many service. All right. Nowadays, more than 200 service. And then, of course, you can search from here. Let's say we mentioned root 53, right? Go to this service and take a look. And then you can see for this service, you don't need to select the region. So you can see this is the region. Now you cannot select because Route 53 is a global bind service. If you use this, all right, they are not actually locating inside each any region. So if you click inside, Route 53 is just a DNS service, just like you go to GoDaddy or some other direct NIC, just like this. You can host your DNS in the internet in cloud. Uh, I have my domain name brianwudemo.com. If you go inside, you can take a look. By default, they give you 4 server. All right. So as you can see here, some name server, DNS name server in UK, and some other maybe in US, and then also Middle East, let's say, or even Asia Pacific. All right. So this is global wide service. You don't need to select the region. Okay. And then for other service, we mentioned DynamoDB before. Okay. If we go to the DynamoDB, this is a NoSQL database. What I want to show you is that we need to select the region. Okay, so if you select Virginia, your data will be physically in that region. All right, so this is a region by service. You need to select the region. And then let's say another service called EC2 is just virtual machine, virtual server. And then suppose now I got 3 virtual machines in this region. If you go to click the launch instance, let's say create a new machine. So let's say Linux. I just want to show you here. Okay, you need to select the availability zone. Okay, so now in this region we have 3 availability zone. Maybe the east side of the city, the north side, and then the CBD. All right, something like that. So availability zone means they are normally kilometers away, maybe 50, 80, normally less than 100 kilometers, using fiber link connect together. So if you have multiple ASAT deployment, okay, one ASAT goes down, less likely uh, you have the other ASAT affected. All right, so it depends on AWS will say the region could go down, but yeah, the availability zone is already many kilometers away. So the EC2 is ASAT iSurface. That is what I want to talk about.
If you are interested in taking up group training, private group training for teams is also available. And the learning plans for these trainings can be customized for any AWS product or solution area to meet the training requirements that help you learn AWS from world-class certified trainers and instructors. I think I might have just gone forward to, I'm not sure. If you're interested in taking, nope. A lack of skilled talent is one of the most common obstacles to the adoption of cloud services. And regardless of your business drivers for using AWS, skills gaps can potentially derail those outcomes. So how do you identify and address these skill gaps quickly? Well, there is a solution, a complementary learning needs analysis from NetCom Learning and AWS Training and Certification. Our LNA is a free self-assessment survey that identifies AWS skills gaps and recommends organizational and individual training plans to address these gaps. The result is faster AWS skills acquisition and optimized training of investments. And optimization of training investments, sorry. The AWS LNA also offers you access cloud skills and for a wide variety of roles across your organization, from developers and data scientists to managers and executives. If you're looking for unlimited training benefits with an enjoyable learning experience, then we have NetCom Learning Plus subscriptions for you. And to get unlimited access to over 500 authorized training solutions from top-notch vendors such as Microsoft, AWS, CompTIA, and more for 1 full year. And if you have a budget to allocate training for your team, then the Learning Passport is the right option for you. Experience the ultimate option in value and flexibility with our prepaid training package. You can manage your team's annual training needs and redeem from a range of over 4,000 courses from top-notch technology providers. We also have learning consultants who are available 24/7 to assist you with your questions or concerns. You can just email us at aws@netcomlearning.com.